So for the theme time this morning, I want you to think about the word that we use. What do you call it when somebody gives something away? What's the word that we use for people who are willing to give things to others? Think of that word, and I'm going to give you a couple of stories to show you what I mean. Maybe one of these stories you know about already. You've heard of it already. You might have even taken part in this first story. But did you know that a few weeks ago, a local farmer came into town with trucks full of potatoes? A local potato farmer. And if you know about growing potatoes, there's a lot of potatoes left in the field after the harvest. And he decided to take those leftover potatoes and give them away, free, to anybody who wanted them. Hundreds of people came with bags and boxes to collect their potatoes. Maybe you did too. The farmer said that 60,000 pounds of potatoes were given away in 4 hours. And another 30,000 pounds of potatoes were going to be given to groups that feed the hungry. Here's another story. And again, maybe you took part in this story too. It's called Break for Breakfast. And people in town drove to a parking lot and donated boxes of cereal for the breakfast programs in our local schools. And guess how many boxes were donated of cereal? 500? 1,000 boxes? Maybe you know the answer. 3,000 boxes of cereal were donated here in Portage for the Break for Breakfast event. Can you imagine what 3,000 boxes of cereal would look like? You think there's a lot of boxes of cereal when you go down the supermarket aisle. There's not 3,000. And on top of that, they raised $6,000 so that they can go and buy even more boxes of cereal for the breakfast program in the school. That's a lot of cereal. What do you call this? Do you have a word in your mind of what we call that? One more story, the last story. This one isn't from Portage, but it's from a small town in Ontario that sounds a lot like Portage. There was a contest in the town a few weeks ago to guess the weight of a giant pumpkin, just in time for Halloween. And every year this happens. A farmer brings a giant pumpkin into the local store, puts it on display, and people come in and they buy a ticket, and then they guess the weight of the pumpkin. Whoever gets closest to the weight of that pumpkin wins the contest. It's a 50-50 draw, and you all know what that means. Half the money raised goes to the winner, and half of the money raised went to a local organization that does some good in the community. So a young girl named Letty, who's only 8 years old, she came closest to guessing the correct weight of the pumpkin, 840 pounds. That's an awfully big pumpkin, right? So Letty got half of that money. It was $304.50. And the local food bank in that small town got the other half, $304.50. And then Letty did something really nice. She took $100 of her $304.50 and she donated that to the local food bank. She wasn't told to do it. She wasn't prompted to do it in any way. She just did it out of her own good heart. You know the word that we use for this. What is the word? Generosity. I heard generosity. What else did I hear? Charity. Pardon me? Kindness, beautiful words, all of them. Giving, generosity, charity, kindness, absolutely. I love those stories. I love stories about people's generosity, about their kindness, about their charity. They're so inspiring. And it's not always about money, is it? Sometimes those generous stories are about people's time and about their words, generous words, about their love. And I wish I could go around this room this morning and ask every one of you to tell a story about generosity that you know. Maybe you have been generous to somebody, maybe somebody has been generous to you. I would love to know what those stories are, because we would all be inspired by them. And we need them to remind us about how good people really are. So today, I'm just simply thankful for the generous people in my life, and today I pray too that I might be as generous as some of them. And I pray that generosity will bring us all closer to God. Amen.